Today we're going to start our summer series on the You Called It series, taking some ideas and some suggestions from those of you who left some ideas for sermon series. So today we're going to be talking about answering the question, how can I believe in a God that I can't see? And we can rephrase that into a statement, that would be, I can't believe in something that I cannot see. Okay? So we're going to, our main text this morning is from the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. Hebrews 11, and we'll begin with verse 1, end with verse 1. So Hebrews 11:1, if you will. And it's a very familiar verse to most of us. The writer of this book says, in God's Word, now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. We're in there for now. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So before we answer this question of how can we believe in a God that we cannot see, we have to define what faith is or what belief is. And the writer of Hebrews does that very well. Faith is being sure, being certain, having a trust of what we hope for. Assurance or trust of things that we cannot see yet. So in other words, we trust something. We trust something as being certain, as being sure, as a sure foundation of what hasn't happened yet, or what we cannot see yet. We'll go on more about that soon. So if you want to re-ask this question now, we could say, how can I trust in a God I can't see? Or I cannot trust or believe or have faith in what I cannot see. We're going to address this now with some of the assumptions that are made with this statement. The first assumption, as I just said with the kids, is that if something is invisible, it doesn't exist. Is that true? Well, let's test that. Let's test that theory. All right. Everybody, take a deep breath. Don't fall asleep. Just take a deep breath. What are you breathing in? Air, which consists of oxygen, nitrogen, other trace elements. Can you see air with your eyes? No, you can't. However, as my son so intelligently said too, that maybe you can see these things with fancy cameras. Well, with the advent of technology, we can see these things, can't we? Under powerful microscopes. True. However, back when the scientists were speculating and theorizing about what makes up matter, atoms, form molecules, and everything else, could they see them? Based on observation, based on theory, based on logic, they postulated, they theorized that these things existed. Now, keep this in your mind for a little bit. We'll get back to this at the end. So at that time, they had a certain faith in their observations that they couldn't prove with their eyes, but they thought it was true. With the passage of time and the advent of technology, was their faith, was their theory proven? Absolutely. So what happened in that course from when they theorized these things that they couldn't see to when they saw them? God bless you. Time passed. And the time came where their faith could be made sight. Okay? So, but for now, okay, fine. We can see air with technology, so we'll put that aside for now. As I said with the kids' message, can you see gravity? Can you see wind? Can you see magnetism? No. You can see the effects. Can you see gravity? Can you see the force that acts upon an apple that falls on your head? Can you see the force that acts upon our moon and our oceans, that holds the moon in place, that causes the oceans to switch tides, that causes the planets to revolve around the sun? Can you see that? No. But is it real? Most certainly it is. In fact, gravity, for those who like physics, makes an indentation in the space-time continuum. It affects its surroundings. But yet we can't see it. How many here believe that George Washington lived? How many here know who he is? How many have ever seen him before, face to face? Better be no. Well, we got to talk. But how do you know he was real? Books. He's on your dollar bill. In God we trust, brother. That's right. Historical records, his legacy, what has happened since he was alive and dead, and with Abe Lincoln or anybody else in history. How do you know that they existed? Well, we know they do based upon what they left behind. But can you see them?
No.
Thank you. No, you cannot. Jackson, exactly. Why is it any different with God? It's a good question for those who doubt, who don't believe. Absolutely. But our faith is a very rational faith. Our faith is a very logical faith. In fact, some of the most intelligent people on the earth ever were Christians as well. It's not just characterized as we are in various media outlets, that Christians believe in things that are just out there and are just ridiculous. And that's nonsense. It's nonsense. Our faith is extremely rational. So the idea that if it's invisible means it doesn't exist falls flat on its face. But those who still doubt may, under this same assumption, say, okay, well, look around you. We have our universe. And they don't believe in God, so they don't think that He made it. But what are the viable options for the existence of our universe? Well, there's three. First one would be, it made itself. It created itself. Which, off the bat, makes no sense. Because how can something create itself, or make itself, when it wasn't in existence? It's not logical, and that falls immediately flat. It cannot make itself. So option two would be, it forever was. It always was. The universe always existed. Okay? And that's a theory out there. However, modern science also is pushing towards that's not true as well. Not that science is always right, because it's proved wrong sometimes. But that's how science works. But almost all models now of scientific theory point to a beginning. That that universe had a beginning. Now, whether it expands and contracts over and over, I don't know. But the point is, in this point, is that it started somewhere. It could not just always be. So that blows out that theory. So the last theory is, well, then someone or something made it, which we believe is the God of the Bible. But the skeptic may say, well, okay, well, if you just said, though, that the universe couldn't create itself and it couldn't be forever, then who made God? Great question. Answer is, He always was. But Pastor, you just said that couldn't happen. Oh, I did not say that.